Hi, I'm Bill Osmolsky. Welcome to the MacIver Newsmakers podcast. Today we are introducing our fall intern, Courtney Graves. Courtney, thank you very much for joining the team here at MacIver.
Yeah, of course.
So Courtney is a junior at UW-Madison, and she's not just an intern at the MacIver Institute, she is also a college Republican. So Courtney, would you tell us a little bit about what you do with the College Republicans?
Yeah, so I serve as president of the UW-Madison College Republicans, and really the main purpose of our group is we want to provide a space for other conservatives on campus to find like-minded people, given the fact that UW-Madison is the vast majority liberal. We also hold a lot of campaign events, and we host a lot of big speakers on campus. Previously, we've had Scott Walker, Ben Shapiro, Michael Knowles, things like that.
Okay, so right now, last week, Charlie Kirk was assassinated in Utah. So that's really changed the tone for the whole idea of having conservative speakers come to campus.
Right.
The school year is just getting started. So tell us a little bit about the reaction that you saw on campus last Wednesday.
Yeah, well, I will just say when I first found out that Charlie Kirk was assassinated, I read it in a Wall Street Journal article, and I couldn't even believe it. It didn't register with me that he was really dead for hours. But I remember I found out when I was in one of my political science classes, and the immediate reaction around me was that people were laughing that he died. And I remember overhearing someone even saying, wow, I wonder how the conservatives are going to spin this now. But the reaction got even worse as the day went on. The Badger Herald, which is our school newspaper, actually did an interview with students on campus about how they felt about the assassination. And one of the responses was that he said he wanted to have a dance in the streets and drink champagne. And another girl interviewed had said that Charlie should be happy that he got shot because that's what he would have wanted and that's what he believed in. And beyond that, the reaction from even professors at UW-Madison was disgusting. There was a political science professor who has probably posted about 100 posts on Blue Sky going about the assassination, how Republicans and Democrats alike on a national level are being over-dramatic about it and how we shouldn't be celebrating Charlie Kirk as a conservative figure. And another assistant mathematics professor at the University of Wisconsin-Madison even said in reference to the assassination that violence against them tends to come from need. So obviously being a conservative on campus and hearing people react this way, it's very disturbing because it makes conservatives like me scared to speak out, that people would really think that because of our political opinions, we deserve to be shot dead.
Now, in a lot of places around the country, people are losing their jobs to that kind of reaction. Has there been any ramifications for anybody, any consequences for anybody at UW-Madison for this type of stuff?
Not to my knowledge, and UW-Madison administration hasn't even made a statement about the assassination whatsoever. The Dean of Students did reach out to me, being the chair of College Republicans, asking if there was anything that we needed, but I don't believe there's been any repercussions.
When was the first time that the College Republicans at UW-Madison then got together after all this?
So we actually got together yesterday for our first meeting of the year, and it was our biggest meeting that we've had since COVID. And I will say we also tabled at the UW-Madison organization fair the night that Charlie Kirk died, and the response was overwhelming from conservatives. We had so many people coming up to our table wanting to sign up for a club. There was even a group of guys who came up to our table who said, I wouldn't normally join things like this, but in light of what happened to Charlie Kirk, we feel like we have to. We feel like we have to band together and speak up. So, however, even though this event is very tragic, at least some good can maybe come of it, where people will want to speak loudly, want to stand firm in their beliefs, and hopefully carry on Charlie Kirk's legacy.
So many people did you get to sign up last week, and how did that compare to what you usually get?
Yeah, so we got 250 signups between the organization fair and the mass email we sent out. That is a huge increase from previous years. I remember last year when I served as vice chair of the club, we only got about 40 signups at the fall org fair. So
now, when you were setting up for the fall org fair this year, you're thinking about what happened to Charlie. What did you think the response was going to be at your table, given all the rhetoric flying around too?
I was really scared that people weren't going to want to come up to our table and that people weren't going to want to be in college Republicans and speak out anymore. I thought the response would be that people would be scared that something would happen to them if they, were outspoken about their beliefs on campus in the way that Charlie Kirk was. But it was quite the opposite among conservative students. I will say I did have a couple liberal students, one of which I know was from the Socialist Club at UW-Madison, who were making fun of Charlie Kirk's death, and one of them even debated with me saying, isn't it ironic that he got shot while talking about gun rights? So I shut that idea down very, very quickly, but...
Yeah, well, good for you.
Yes.
So now you just had an event too last night.
Correct.
And tell us about that event.
Yeah, so we had our kickoff event last night with Representative Amanda Nedweski. And so first event of the year at Buffalo Wild Wings, where we like to hold a lot of our meetings. And we got 100 people to our event. That is the biggest kickoff event we have ever had. Our spring kickoff that we did last year was with former Governor Tommy Thompson, and we only got about 40 people for that one. So that was very crazy to have, that many people show up to just a kickoff event at Buffalo Wild Wings. But it was amazing, and everyone was, conversing, making friends. Of course, there was a lot of talk about Kirk's death and what that meant for our club and the broader conservative movement. But I would say altogether, people were really, sticking together and finding comfort and finding like-minded individuals.
So obviously, this is given conservatives on campus a lot of momentum. Where do you see things going, for over the next few weeks throughout the fall semester, and how is this going to impact events that you were previously planning on having?
Yeah, well, I really hope that the momentum for conservative students wanting to stay in our club keeps up. I really hope that people still recognize, in a couple months that it's really important that we continue to speak up, stand firm in our beliefs, and carry on Kirk's legacy, because ultimately we are still the minority on campus, and UW-Madison's campus, especially its students, are still very hostile to our ideas. So it's really important that we speak our voices, or that we use our voices loudly, because we need ideological diversity on campus. And as far as the events that we're planning, I really hope that, it works out and we can still schedule them all. I was initially worried that speakers were going to pull back, not want to speak on our campus, but I would say based on the response I'm seeing from people like Ben Shapiro, Michael Knowles, online, it seems like this is really just emboldening them even more to speak on campus. My only fear would be that UW-Madison administration would maybe want to shut events down out of fear of something happening. UW-Madison actually has a long history of doing that. We hosted Michael Knowles in spring of 2024. And I don't know if anyone remembers this, but it made really big national news that when we hosted Matt Walsh in 2023, very angry liberal protesters caused $30,000 in damage to the Historical Memorial Union and were eating Bibles outside while he was speaking. It made huge national news, was on Fox News, all of that. And so in response to that, for our Michael Knowles event, they tried to charge us thousands of dollars in security fees last minute to protect us against liberal protesters. And obviously we couldn't afford that fee because we're just a registered student organization. So we ended up actually having to sue our school in order to get them to back off from the security fee and host our event. So I'm really scared that something like that could happen in the future, but I'm hoping after our Michael Knowles event, UW-Madison administration has learned their lesson.
So semester's just getting kicked off. You guys are still trying to get these things organized. Like, what are you hoping to host your first event? Like in November, or like what time frame are you kind of thinking about for there?
So we're going to be hosting events pretty much every week starting from now all the way till the end of the semester. I'm hoping for one of our bigger events of actually doing a panel on spreading ideological diversity. I want to bring some professors in, maybe some state lawmakers, to talk about the importance of, having different viewpoints on such a liberal campus and how we can combat the really hostile environment that exists against conservatives at UW-Madison. I'm also hoping to bring in some other politicians, some other speakers that can just talk more broadly about, Republican politics and our beliefs and why it's important. But yeah.
No, hey, Courtney, that sounds great. I mean, your guys' reaction is really impressive. You seem really motivated and energetic. Like this has just, fired you guys up even more. So Again, really happy to have you at the MacIver Institute this semester. Obviously, we're gonna have to do more updates as the semester goes on because, obviously this is a very interesting topic for people, and you're just, you being right in the middle of it really provides some great insights for people that come to MacIver Institute. So.
For sure, yeah.
And so we'll catch all of you next time. Welcome back to our MacIver Newsmakers and Report podcast.
All right, thank you, Bill.